So much of what we do today in academia, when we do research, is done online. So much of the reading you're asked to do is done online as well. We collect all sorts of materials, PDFs from journals, references. We might even get film clips from YouTube. We might do stuff like want to take copies of web pages from newspapers. There's so many different types of material that we need to organise, and we need to organise effectively. It's very difficult to find a tool to do this that is effective, but I think I've found one that would be extremely useful for you. It's called Zotero, and I want to show you how it works. In many ways, I believe that it outstrips completely the effectiveness of EndNote, which is fair enough for PDFs, but its output isn't great. If we go to the libraries page where it's got its software applications and tools, you'll see that they recommend a number of different things, including EndNote and RefWorks. EndNote I've used quite often and have found that it's actually very tricky and it doesn't do the things that you want it to do. It's not very good, for example, at doing stuff like footnoting, and on the whole it'll only store PDFs. I think it's a pretty flaky program, and although it's free, I think that we can do a lot better. And that lot better is Zotero. Zotero is a program that was developed by historians for historians, but it can be used effectively by anyone. You can download Zotero from here. Probably the most effective version is the one that embeds itself in Firefox. Now, obviously, if you don't like using Firefox, this is going to be a bit of a problem. There are workarounds it, including a Zotero standalone and a way of connecting between that standalone and your browser. But in reality, it doesn't work nearly as well as the one that embeds into Firefox. The great advantage of Zotero is that it is an incredibly intuitive program. We can organize things in collections and sub-collections that look just like the files that we see on our desktop or in our various control panels. We can create new sub-collections and have sub-collections, as you can see going on here, and organize it in any way that you want to do, any way that's intuitive for you. Why is it that I like Zotero so much? Well, put simply, it's because it can do some really great stuff. Let's go back to our original article. If we click on the link, it takes us to a page with more detailed information about it, including a page view that we can flick through and read online. However, once you've installed Zotero into Firefox, you can see this toolbar up here. And all I've got to do to get hold of this article is to press that. And hey presto, we find it in our Zotero database, stored under the collection that I'd selected, Ecological History, and there is the PDF itself that we can view in an external viewer. And there it is. Too easy. Stored in the right place. On top of that, we have a look here, you'll find that it's stored the entire reference for the piece automatically. Everything from its title to its abstract, if it's got an abstract, volume, issue, pages, and that can either be cut and pasted or it can be exported into a database. It's very, very flexible. Perhaps we've been looking through Wikipedia and we find a useful article, which is quite common when we go to Wikipedia these days, like an article on Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, which will be the subject of a lecture later on. And we want to store that. So what do? We just go to our Zotero bar, we click, we find there, Silent Spring. You'll see that it's retained the markup. That's a bit annoying, but you can go in and edit it. Let's get rid of that. Edit it very easily. And then later on down the line, we can view a snapshot of it, which has been stored on our computer in the database. Note the address there, Zotero attachment, and there we have it preserved for our future use and reference without having to go back to it online. Or maybe we've been searching through newspapers. For example, we've gone to the New York Times magazine and we found a really interesting piece about how Silent Spring ignited the environmental movement. Again, boom, we just press that button and hey presto, There it is, registered, as you'll see, as a newspaper article. Again, we've got the date. This time it hasn't taken page numbers down, probably because it was registered as a web page. Once again, it's been stored as a snapshot of the web page, and we can go and access that at any time that we wish to. Or we're searching through Google Books, and we've found a Google Books version of The Silent Spring. This is a preview, to be sure, but maybe we want the reference for it at the very least, and a snapshot of where to go back to it. And once again, we can hit that. It notes that it's a book, first published, that this edition's 2002, and it's taken a link, and we can go back to that at any time by clicking on the link. And there are all sorts of different forms of material that you can store in there. That's only a very, very small selection of them. So that's why I recommend that you use a program like Zotero, which is incredibly flexible and will organize your online work very effectively.